Hello everyone, and welcome back to the Resurrection Cup 2026 Codename Genesis. Finally, at the final stage, we are ready to face off and see a second match of the losers bracket of the stage, and this is a fun one. This is the one where the winner of it will be deciding who will be facing off against the team OWC ready and looking to get through towards the grand finals of this great tournament, but it will not be an easy road at all. It was not so far, at least for the team balner here. They did try their best, they did get towards the stage, but the road was really shaky, a lot of unfortunate mistakes, a lot of close to tiebreaker and tiebreaker games at that, unfortunate mistakes, unfortunate misses, but they finally made it here, and they will be facing off against a foe not any less that they have seen before. Just incredible matchup, that's for sure. I'm looking forward to what we are going to be seeing today, especially considering the performances that we have observed in the actual matchups in the semi-finals. Right now, I am really hoping that at the very least the best teams will advance, but the tiebreaker is what I'm expecting. But for now, Team Balner will be facing off against Team... Oh my god, I'm so sorry, it's hard to pronounce Slushy after all, and it will be a match to decide who will be advancing further. As for who will be covering this match today, of course, it will be me, A21, joined today by the lovely Wilwam. How are you doing today, man?
I'm doing fantastic here, and I mean, we do have a pretty interesting match on our hands here. We've got one of these is Seed 4 and one of these is Seed 5, and I don't remember which one is which, but I think it's Slushy Seed 4 and then Balner Seed 5. Slushy being dropped down from the losers bracket from last week in their match against 36am Lovers. They lost 6-3, and meanwhile Balner, dropped all the way back in round of 16 in a tough tiebreaker match, but have managed to fight themselves all the way to the finals weekend. So looking forward to see how these two teams perform on a pool of this caliber, because this pool is quite demonic, I have to say. Like, although the advertiser star rating is 7.9, I think Pez said it in his showcase, right? This pool might be closer to something like 8.5 realistically, so it'll really be interesting to see that skill cap get tested here, and I think if anything that's going to flavor Slushy a bit more, right? You see these names and they just have so much experience playing on pools with this SR, which gives them quite a big advantage going into this matchup.
I mean, definitely going to be a fun showcase at the release from the players that we are seeing today, right? Team Slushy, for example, incredible just a roster of players that, as you mentioned, is going to be able to perform quite nicely on this type of difficulty, right? The pool is a bit more favored towards the side here, but considering the overall performance and I guess improvements that we have seen so far from the Team Balner, I feel like there might be some chances at the very least to contest some of those points. And first of all, the first point where they will be figuring out what they will be doing for the rest of this match is the ban phase, and the first ban coming in from the Team Slushy, I'm not sure what it is going to be.
We see it come out right now, and it's going to be that No Mod 5, that really weird and awkward overlap reading map. Pretty interesting one to be batting out. I think the main strategy for Slushy here is to just keep on going with those high SR skill cap maps. And I think, No Mod 5 is one of those maps that, while it is definitely a bit weird, I think it's one of those that might be a bit more accessible for some of the players on Balner. And I imagine Slushy just wants to abuse that sort of high SR mechanics, high SR tapping, that sort of thing, which there is plenty of in this pool. So I think that is going to be their main strat going into. I mean, they have players like Rectagon and Window Life and the Kidden. I mean, I think that's probably what we're going to be seeing from them. So I'm imagining that Balner is probably going to end up taking one of those out. I'm looking at that DT pool, maybe even some of that those No Mod 1, No Mod 2 more conventional, but just really high skill cap maps. But we will just have to wait and see. I definitely think this No Mod 5 is not too shocking for a start. I think they still would be able to play it fairly well, given that they have players like Ethan Trix and Takedo, but maybe they just think it's the best option to get rid of because of the players on balner and it being maybe a more accessible map.
I mean, yeah, generally, we have seen previously that Team Slushy did ban quite a lot of Nomad 5s, right, to this tournament, as they did not really like to get towards some of those Nomad reading, right, so this ban just makes sense. But the HD2 from the side of balner is a little bit more shaky, in my opinion, right? I do believe that Team balner is a bit more favored on specifically modded reading, right? For example, free mod 2 that you might see in the future, HD2 that has been banned right now, so I'm a little bit surprised, but considering again who they are facing off against, they might just not feel completely confident, right? Because when you are facing off against people like, as you mentioned, at Tantrix, like the Keto, you have to be sure that you will be performing above and beyond of what you are capable of, and maybe today is not the day to do exactly that for Team balner, but well, the ban phase has ended with that, and the first pick will be coming in from the team on the side of right, on the side of Iris, and it will be, as I mentioned, free mod 2 Grid Knight. What an incredible map to start off with.
Interesting, first moves here coming out from both these teams. I mean, both these teams taking out the gimmick maps is raising a few question marks to me. I do remember balner had this happen previously in one of their matches in quarterfinals, I think. But it's just quite surprising to me that neither team, feels like they're weak enough on perhaps the high BPM abusable mechanics to take it out, and instead they're both going for this sort of gimmickier ban. And then balner following up with the instant free mod 2 pick, picking into arguably the last remaining map in this pool that touches on that gimmick element. I mean, this is just very, very peculiar to me, I can't lie. I'm really not sure what balner is going for, but if they picked it first, they must be feeling pretty confident. And to talk about the map itself, I mean, this one is pretty interesting. It's going to be a grid style anti-mod, CS5, AR 8.5, so a little bit nicer on those hidden players, but honestly, given the style of the map, I mean, this one is pretty brutal, I think, for those hidden players, right? This one requires you to snap a lot with those linear patterns, and when you're on hidden, I mean, even if it is AR 8.5, it is still just incredibly challenging.
Yeah, I mean, the overall overlaps and just general snap aims that you mentioned are going to be the challenge most, you're right, together with a great mapping, which is kind of funny considering the name of the song, Grid Knight. It just makes sense, right? It's going to be an interesting map to get through. I do believe they might begin it exactly because of those modes advantages, right, that that they can try to abuse here. It's not pretty much it will be anyone's game. People like Tantrix and Takedo are just a bit more confident, a bit more consistent on this type of stuff, but again, with just Hidden, with Hard Rock, it will be a bit of a transformation. Hidden will be at least giving some kind of an advantage simply because of the, again, consistency, pure consistency that Team balner has on some of those high-end, high-skill ceiling reading maps, so that might be one of the reasons why they are picking it as a first map, but again, it is one and only map that has reading aspects left in the pool, and this is just a slight bit of a gamble, slight bit of an unmount, a touch to get a first point on board, get an initial movement going towards the side, and it will be crucial as we are finally going to be loading into the free mod 2.
Yeah, this one only sitting at 2 minutes here, so very, very volatile for these players, and they're really going to have to find their footing immediately here. But as it stands right now, into this opening section, both teams are looking very solid. I believe Arguid is just taking the Hard Rock there, so we see both teams taking 2 Hard Rock, which is quite expected. I think this one just favors the Hard Rock too much for you want to take 2 hiddens on this. Even if you are confident on the hidden, I mean, it is just so demonic trying to hit these grid patterns consistently. As it stands right now, it's only Rectagon actually for the side of Slushy to find a singular break here, and then he follows up with another one that is going to give that score advantage to the side of Balner, but there is still plenty of time for misses to happen. There's still a good 2/3 of the map left to go.
Yeah, I mean, so far the only with the absolute unit of a player at Tank 63 with Hidden is the one, the only FC standing, I believe, for the team Slushy here. Incredible performance so far, halfway through the map, able to hold that combo, but he is facing off against some of the guts on the other side as well. Kusuria still holding incredible combo, I believe, still on FC, still an incredible recovery after Tantrix finally finds a mistake in the grid patterns that we have seen previously. It is going to be a big advantage again going towards Team Balner, and with the length of the map that you have mentioned previously, it is going to be a long shot, a long possibility, a hope. Pretty much lost at this point for Team Slushy if they want to get a comeback out, because already 200k we are going to be seeing after all breaks coming in from Seal and Kusuria, but there is just a bit too much of a score difference. Is there going to be enough of the combo left on the map to get the comeback going? It seems like that is actually going to be the case. The Captain getting a performance of a lifetime 600 combo coming in through together with 400 combo from Rectagon, and Taxis on incredible recovery are going to be able to close it down and get a comeback going, get a first point on board with an incredible performance from the side.
That was absolutely crazy. The recovery from Dekiden and Rectagon at the very end here. Dekiden, I think, did find a miss at the very start, but managed to pull through at the end there and secure the first breakpoint for his team. I mean, that score lead was looking pretty on the side of Balner here, and there's very little time for them to do it, but they managed to do it anyway, and that is going to be a point on the board for Slushy, taking themselves up 1-0. And that's just kind of crazy. Like, both these teams scored very, very well on this free mod too. It was just a slightly better top score there from Dekiden. And that's really just what gives Slushy the point. And now they have the chance to convert this breakpoint into a 2-0 lead, and we will just have to see what they end up going for. I am personally either expecting them to go with a very strong control angle or a very strong mechanics angle, because I think if you just look at these players, they do fill both these sort of skill sets very well. And it does look like they're going to be going into the control angle to start, which is not too surprising, since I think this is what they've been doing in the past, and they're going to be going into this free mod 4. This free mod 4 is quite one of those controlling maps. Like, it features a lot of flow and a lot of rhythm, but otherwise it's generally quite conventional, all things considered. I think players shouldn't have too horrible of a time on this one. The patterns are just like very conventional for this style of map, and I think it should similarly be one of the maybe more higher scoring maps in this pool, or maybe more accessible.
Yeah, I mean, as you mentioned, it is going to be a bit more of an, I guess, a bit more of a usual patterns, right, that we're going to be seeing here on this Remote 4, but I guess the bigger question right now is that the length of the map is a bit increased, at least compared to the average length that we are going to be seeing in this pool. 3 minutes of that control out with a lot of whole aim in between will be the name of the game here. Pretty much the consistency they are going to be banking on the fact that Team Balner is just a bit more likely to find a mistake, to find a miss in the middle, so that is pretty much, I believe, is the reason why it is going to be a first pick coming in from the Team Slushy here. Definitely makes sense, definitely is going to be an interesting angle. At the very least, they're going to be able to abuse it in the future, right? Because there is still going to be a lot of maps on the field, considering all those old or general snap, almost control maps that we are going to be seeing here today. Hopefully it's just going to be opening up some of those doors, some of those confidence boosters, right, in the future. But for now, they have to perform nicely on the stream mode 4 to indeed get a foot in the door, and that is going to be the challenge.
Yeah, I think this one does unlock quite a lot of doors for Slushy here. I mean, there are plenty of control maps in this pool, though very differing in flavor for sure, right? I'm immediately thinking follow-ups, maybe stuff like the Hard Rock 3 or maybe even the DT4 as another sort of alt map. Also stuff like, you know, the Hidden 3 and the Nomad 3 become options. Just a lot of things that you can follow this up with for sure, leaning back into the control skill set. But enough of the feature, we have to focus on this free mod 4 right now. This one mapped by Megafan and PO for the Laser Grand Arena, and now we've stolen it to use in Resurrection Cup. And it does take a while to start up, but once we really get into the grid of this map, you're going to see a bunch of these flowy patterns, a bunch of wiggles as well, with those sort of rhythm elements to start us off. And we see this first bout of patterns catching no one off guard right now. Everyone's still holding FCs, but it's just a matter of how long they can hold it.
The first one to go down after all will be Decayton, just giving a slight edge toward the team Balner, just an opportunity to get some of the score on board for them, but it's still going to be a bit of a struggle right now, especially considering the inbound that we are seeing right now on the field, and Targets with 3 and Taquito both holding HD, Team Slushy going double HD, 1 HR only, while Team Balner is going with 2 Hard Rocks and only 1 HD. While I was talking about the territory finally finding a break together with Fudge falling closely behind, and now it is pretty much a 2v1, and Tantrix and Taquito facing off against Kusuria, who has been showing themselves as an incredible player through this tournament, incredible player through all of the matches that they have participated in, but for now it is not going to be enough, especially as the Decayton has found some recovery combo, will be going down after all finally together with Taquito, but the score difference is pretty much just in the slightest beast going towards the team Balner here, already getting towards the 15k, pretty much the accuracy is the reason why it is fluctuating back and forth and back, as Kusuria is going to find another break, and now as we're already halfway through the map and the actual hard parts are going to be appearing soon, we are still in an equilibrium.
No one is seeming to find any sort of combo in that section. Finally, Sherry Tori has managed to build up to 600 combo, and it looks like those recoveries are slowly building back up, but that score is still on a knife's edge. Just 7k is separating these two teams as we move into this last third of the map here, and it's just about how long these combos can hold. No one looking to trip up on these wiggle patterns, on these flow-in patterns, and it looks like right now it's Balner to secure that ever so slight score lead, given that those recovery combos are slightly higher, but one miss will spell disaster for either of these teams here. It's just about who can hold out long enough.
Oh, but it is a trade after all. Fudge and Taquito going down together, while there is still big combos on the both sides of the board, and the score difference will be only going up, especially with the double break after all coming in from Slushy. And with that, it seems like Balner is finally in a comfortable position, even with that combo that they are having, with the amount of nodes just left in the maps. They will be guaranteeing themselves to take finally a first point for them and an equalizer into the first round of picks of this matchup, and well, that is a great performance. That is at the very least a pretty decent statement that Slushy is not going to be feeling comfortable on the control picks.
Crazy stuff coming out from these first two picks here, as you mentioned. I mean, this is just a very solid performance from Balner here. Standout store definitely going to be a Sherry Tori with this 670k here on that hidden. And just a lot better overall team consistency, right, from the side of Balner here. I mean, all three scores pretty similar in size there, but they were just slightly better than the scores that Slushy had. And that is going to put them over the edge, gonna give them that first breakpoint right back. And now it's just a bit of a question mark as to what these teams go for next, right? Slushy, could have followed up that free mod 4 with any of these control picks, but that's kind of been stopped right in its tracks, given that Balner were able to take that first break point. And meanwhile, Balner, I mean, I suppose it's less bad for them because you couldn't really follow up the free mod 2 with much, given that all the gimmick has been banned. But, it's still a bit dicey as to what to go for. I think, honestly, Balner may decide to follow the Fremont 4 up with another control pick, and it looks like they are going to be doing that. They're going into the Hard Rock 3, arguably the most similar map to this Fremont 4 in my opinion, actually. I mean, it's Hard Rock Alt is the name of the game here, and although it is a lot more, snap focused, a lot more wide in focused, it still leans into that control element very heavily, and I think that's why Balner want to go into it so early. And nonetheless, right, Balner quite like this Hard Rock pool in general. I mean, you saw they took 2 Hard Rocks on that Fremont 4. I think they don't like the hidden nearly as much. So I think, all of these things sort of combined, the Hard Rock, the control, just coming out of that Fremont 4 with a pretty sizable win, makes this Hard Rock 3 a pretty convincing pick from what I can see.
Honestly, I'm even a little bit surprised we are not going to be seeing Hard Rock 2 coming in from the Team Balner here, right? They are, as you mentioned, are pretty confident in the Hard Rock skills, right? They are going to be going into some of this precision stuff in the future, but Hard 3 just, I guess, makes sense a little bit in this moment in particular, right? Especially as the Fremont 4, apologies, win following, because behind that Hard Rock 3 will be the most similar map as you mentioned. I don't believe it is going to be most so because of the length again, right? It's going to be a bit more of a test of consistency. The map is going to be even a bit longer this time around, with sitting at around 3 minutes 30 seconds of drain time, so definitely a bit of a question if they are going to be able to just continue doing what they are doing for the entire duration of the map. But well, with the performance that we have seen on the Fremont 4, that is very likely. But yeah, generally a ton of wiggles, a ton of just general control stuff that you have to get through will be getting at least a small advantage, at least on paper, toward the Team Balner.
I think one other thing that this map might unlock is gonna be sort of that fast aim genre. Like this Hard Rock 3, especially near the end, has a lot of those, wide snap aim patterns, which, obviously you can snap them, but it also, tests that very, very prominent wide spacing aim, which I think will unlock a lot of maps such as, the Nomad 1, the Hard Rock 1, and just that sort of conventional sort of wide aim. So I think, this map definitely can unlock some very strong avenues for Balner if they can play it right, but as it stands right now, we just have to see how they perform in this one, and it looks like no one is getting tripped up at all. And you see these pretty wide aim snaps trying to catch these players out, some wiggles here, but as it stands, it is just Takedo to find a very early miss for the side of Slushy.
Yeah, definitely. At the very least, we can say that the accuracy is going to be getting toward the Team Slushy here, right? Simply because of some rebel performance, at least in the first quarter of this map. But again, combo is the king in the score with 2, so the still 3 assists coming in from Team Balner will be giving them at least a small bit of an advantage, giving at least a bit of a wiggle room, as you might expect, right? To just find potentially a miss later in the map, and with another mistake coming in from Takedo, it will be giving them even more of an edge as they are getting finally little by little towards the second half of this map, and finally misses are coming through. Rectagon, the Kate and the Archwade are going down, but the Kasuria and Fudge are the ones to still stand tall and get that combo going, get that score advantage towards their team. Fudge finally following because behind the misses that we have seen previously, but the Kasuria is still the one of the players to performing greatly, to improve the most in this tournament, and right now they are proving that time and time again.
I mean, they are uncontested in this lobby, right? No one else even coming close to that 800 combo that Kasuria has built up for Balner here, and they are just going to be moving that score difference ever so further to their side now. 200k, and with still half the map to go and no signs of stopping whatsoever, it's going to take an absolute miracle for Slushy to take this one back. Still plenty of time, but as breaks keep coming out from both sides here, Rectagon, Takedo, Argued Fudge, and finally Kasuria finally drops that FC. I mean, it's just looking dire for the side of Slushy. They really only have that 500 recovery combo on the Kitten there to pull that 200k score lead back to their side.
Yeah, I mean, so far the only good thing right now for them is that the Codename is not only in a good recovery combo, he's also one of the best accuracies in the lobby, if not the best. 99.2% accuracy from him, and it is only going to be increasing bit by bit if he's going to be able to just hold again, but the score difference is going to be flying down, maybe not fast enough because there is only so much nodes again just left in the map, but he's doing best of what he can. A lot of misses just coming in from both of the sides, the patterns are going to be insane, but the Gaten is the one to still be standing tall, not going down under the whirlwind of blows coming in on this map, and he's still going 800 combo and counting, looking to actually go down as the one to bring another point, a break point for the Team Slushy, but it is not fated to be. He will be, the combo will be destroyed, he will be going down together with Team Slushy, who is going to begin finally a first picked point towards the Team Balner.
I mean, that is just unfortunate for the side of Slushy there. Everyone else was just finding break after break. No one could hit that ending section where the spacing just goes absolutely crazy. But the Kitten, try as he might, just did not have enough to bring the score lead back to his side. And that is going to give Balner another point on the board, bringing them up 2-1. But an incredible effort there for Kitten. The Kitten there, holding through so much and recovering so much of that combo near the end. But alas, Balner is going to be taking a point. And now Slushy has to respond with their very own pick. And Slushy are going to be going right into the hidden pool, which isn't too shocking to me, but they're going to be going into the hidden one, which I'm not sure. I mean, I guess this was the hidden that I was expecting over maybe the hidden 3. But this one is still quite a gamble, I think, playing it against a team like Balner. I think the only thing keeping it on their side would be that hidden element, which Balner really just doesn't like at all. This hidden one gonna feature quite a mixture of stuff, right? This one features, you know, it is in the hidden 1 slot, and it does feature a bunch of that, you know, weird, sort of awkward patterny style aim. But this one just features a lot of control and like circle techy elements as well, right? You have plenty of these wiggly patterns, these pentagon streams. There's just a lot that can catch you out on this map if you are not like on your A game when it comes to control element.
Yeah, I mean, I am quite excited to first of all see this map actually being played, right? Because Hidden One is quite a banger this time around, right? It is a great map, very interesting to watch and actually play, but, well, I'm still going to be surprised that it is going to be picked right now for the team, by the Team Slushy right now, right? Especially after the free mod 4, especially after Hardware 3. I mean, of course, right, they are, or at least on paper, are going to be having an advantage on general control stuff, general a bit of an OT type of maps, especially considering just the players that they have, right, in their pocket. But so far it did not really work out greatly for them, right? Mod 4, for example, they were pretty much facing off 2 players against 1, I believe, at Tandrix against Scylla, and honestly, I believe it was really close. Maybe even Scylla did came out as the winner in that specific matchup, but after those maps, Hidden One just seems a bit shaky, maybe even a bit desperate, just to prove again that they are indeed good enough on this type of skill set. But, well, we are going to be seeing it in just a moment, as it seems like we are going to be finally starting the Hidden One, the chocolate, not disco chocolate scramble after all, and, well, the cinema is about to become true.
I mean, yeah, I think the hidden element is just going to make this one a lot more favored towards Slushy, even if they haven't looked the strongest on the control. And, well, I mean, this one is quite long, right? It's sitting at 3 minutes, so plenty of time for things to happen here. And right off the bat, it looks like Scylla is the only one to find a early break here. I mean, it's still very early days, and there's still plenty of patterns to trip all these players out in this map, but as it stands, it's going to be Slushy taking the very early score lead into this first aim section.
Yeah, I mean, we are going to be going into the first case section quite soon, and we are going to be seeing some of those circular patterns, all the flow aim control that they are going to be seen, and that is going to be tested from all sides right now. It seems like we are going to be seeing finally a double recommend need from Trajectory and the Keto viral skills. It is still going to be a bit of a bad trade off for Team Balner here, as Radius and Darkness are going to be traded off as well, and now the only player still with a combo was the Keaton, finally going down into the big just cross-screen patterns. We are going to be finally getting towards some of the circular motion stuff. Still just not able to keep up at all. Autoshin needs to get as speed, while Team Slushy seems to recover quite well, finally getting a double break, but not as Chain miss one, so accuracy is not going to be affected as much. The score is not going to be lost as drastically. So right now it is still going to be a big favor, at least in the score, going towards their side.
I mean, this is just miss after miss coming from either side here. No one really finding any sort of stable combo. Ethan Tricks, the largest combo in the lobby, sitting up there at 600, and that is only going to favor Slushy as we move further and further past this map. But it is just so many breaks across either side, and that's only going to favor Slushy, who's built up that 240k score buffer here. And as these circular patterns come to attack these players, I mean, it's just still constant misses from everyone here as we move into the last quarter of the map.
Yeah, and it seems like it is only going to be cemented further that Team Slushy is going to be actually finally getting an equalizer, getting a point of their own as we are getting towards the last quarter, a bit of a tacky one, and there is just a bit too much misses coming in from the Team Balner. Here the only one with the combo will be Sharitori, but it will not be enough because 95% accuracy is just not going to make it on the operation of against the beast of a players like Tantrix, the Keaton and the Keto. With 300k score difference, they will be taken after all. The second point towards the back, making the score 2-2, and trying to get some of that again, just proving that it is not yet dealt with. They still have some powder in their guns and they're able to respond when needed.
This is just kind of what we expect, I think, from a team of Slushy's caliber. Just look at this team consistency. All three scores better than the scores of Balner, and they've finally been able to prove themselves on this sort of controlly hidden skill set. And it's going to be, you know, pretty smooth sailing moving into this next ban phase, I think, for both teams. You know, maybe a bit of a rough start, losing their first picks. But, you know, I think now, I think they both have a better idea of what they want to go into. I think Slushy, for sure, wants to keep going with that hidden. And I imagine once that runs out, once they've got the hidden 3 out of the way, I imagine they want to go into the more tapping mechanics sort of thing, unless they're missing window life or something like that. It just feels like something that they'd want to go into given the high SR of this pool. Meanwhile, Balner, it's hard to say. Much more so. I think on paper they have much less of the pool, but I still see them, you know, potentially trying to move more into the IM mechanics, maybe looking at, you know, no mod 1, free mod 1, maybe even those hard rocks as well, you know, hard rock 1, hard rock 2, which they seem to have historically liked that hard rock pool quite a lot. But we're gonna have to wait until we see those bans come out first, and we're waiting a little while for them. I imagine, I'm just going to throw out some guesses of what I'm expecting to see for bans. Given that both of them banned a gimmick map, it's very hard to say what they actively don't like. But I think given these first 2 picks, I can either imagine Balner just taking out that hidden 3, just as another hidden map in the pool, or they think ahead and they think about what Slushy is going to ban afterwards. And I can imagine that being some sort of tapping, some sort of high BPM tapping, which is exactly what they're going for, actually. They're going to be banning out the Fremont 3, this LMT, streamy, speedy, bursty sort of map here. A pretty expected one if they didn't go for that hidden 3, I think. Just preparing in advance for when Slushy is going to start bringing out those tapping guns, I think, is a very solid move for Team Balner here. And meanwhile, Slushy here, I get a feeling that they are going to be banning out one of the hard rocks. I think it's just one of the things that Balner is just more confident on, all things considered. And I think just banning out what your team is confident on is just a very solid move in any situation, right? It's just, I think there's nothing that Slushy would actively do bad on, but it's more about just limiting Balner's options so the mental gets screwed over a bit. And they do in fact go with that hard off one man. So, you know, pretty expected stuff I think from both sides here. And now it's a matter of what their next pick is.
Yeah, I mean, pretty much interested they did go with Hard Rock 1, right? I do believe that Team Poner is a bit more likely to go with Hard Rock 2 pick in the future, but, well, it still makes sense, right? William did describe it quite nicely for everyone, so there is not much need to prolong around that further, but I'm really interested to see what is going to be an angle of attack in the future for Team Ball right now, right? Because, of course, as I mentioned, Hard Rock 2, Precision, this type of aim-heavy stuff is going to be something that they kind of just like to go for, right, in this match, in this tournament in specific, but I'm not so sure that we are going to be staying on this type of road for long, right? There's still going to be a lot of maps that they have to get through, that they have to win if they want a chance of actually advancing further in the final stage, but I am really interested to see what is going to be a pick in the future, like something like Nomad 3, Nomad 4, but for now, Nomad 1 is the decision, the aim map, pure aim pretty much for 2 minutes, with a lot of just cross-screen repetitive almost patterns, right? And the first custom that we are going to be seeing today, I believe made by Lepore Bill. Apologies if I butchered the pronunciation, it is a bit hard to pronounce French, but still, wide angle jumps, a lot of actually incredible mapped elements that we are going to be seeing today, and pretty much a consistency check.
Yeah, I mean, this one is, I think, arguably the most conventional map in this pool by quite a margin. You know, this Minoad one, I mean, you summed it up perfectly, right? It is just conventional, wide-angle, cross-screen aim for 2 minutes. So I think, you know, all players should have a pretty good time on this, all things considered. I mean, at the end of the day, it is 8-star aim, which is not easy by any means, but certainly very conventional, making it thus quite accessible, I would think. And, you know, I think this pick itself is not too shocking, I think, for me. I think I would have expected Balner to move into this sort of aim skill set sooner or later, because those Hard Rock picks are going to run out fast, right? They only have that Hard Rock 2, which is arguably quite, you know, definitely aim heavy, but has a fair amount of control-y sort of elements in it. So yeah, I'm not surprised at all with this Nomad 1 pick coming up Balner, and if they do well on this, I mean, they have quite a few things they can follow it up with, right? There's obviously the Hard Rock 2, which I imagine they were going to pick anyway, but they also have stuff like the Fremod 1 and maybe the DT 1, I suppose. You know, the Fremod 1 being also very wide angle aim heavy, though definitely a lot more awkward. And the DQ1 also being just, you know, your well, not necessarily standard, but featuring a lot of aim as well. But, you know, we have to see how this Nomad 1 plays out for them. And, you know, I do think they can certainly go back into control, maybe looking at sort of the Nomad 3 and also like the DT pool for that sort of stuff, but I think the hope for sure for Balner here is that they unlock a few more maps for them to pick if they can do well on this Nomad 1. But enough about that. I mean, this is the Nomad 1, as you mentioned, a custom here by the Prouvé Bill, and I mean, yeah, it's just going to be wide angles here. Everyone looking to have a pretty good time right off the back, but there is still much more aim to be had in this map.
Yeah, I mean, this map is relentless. There is not going to be a lot of breaks to really catch your grip and get ready to get into another set of jumps. So what you are seeing is what you are going to be getting for another minute and a half so far. And well, the only mistake that we have seen have came from Kasuria and Rectigon finally catching up Fudge right behind them. But well, it is still going to be only a first half already. What? They're already pretty much heading towards the second half, and that means the score difference is going to be ballooning quite fast towards the team Slushy here. If they're going to be able to just hold long enough to make that combo difference just matter, as he already sees that at least for now there is not a lot of miss coming in. Finally, Retreat, the only other combo from the side of Bonus, the only lasting FC is going down, and now the Gaten and the Kito are doing a massacre, showing what you have to do, what is a name up and how you get through it. The Kito finally finding the break, while the Gaten is still giving some kind of a slipstream to Rectigon to get some recovery, finally going down, getting to crush, but it is that the damage has been done. We are getting towards the last quarter, but there is just not enough combo to gain an advantage over the team of Slushy right now. For Team Balner, there is just not enough ability to actually make that happen, as the 200k score difference is still big, still a wall to climb, and that is a bit too high of a distance for them to get through, as the Team Slushy is going to be finally finding another breakpoint most likely and getting a score 3-2, getting the lead, but they need to finish it off little by little, as the score is going to be getting towards the side. But at the very least they need to perform, they need to show up at least a little bit. They do not know that they have won this point already, and well, with that we are pretty much sure that even with some incredible performances, incredible recovery combos, that is not going to be enough.
I mean, that was just decided in the first half, right? Takedo and the Kaden duo there for this side of Slushy, just holding those FCs. Meanwhile, all three players on Balner just finding that early break there and really not being able to have enough map to make a sizable recovery. So really just Slushy taking out one in the first half and keeping that score lead on their side, winning them at that breakpoint and taking themselves up 3-2. And that is pretty bad for the side of Balner, right? They already don't have a lot that they can go into to follow that up. And now losing another breakpoint, losing, the conventional aim map is really looking dire for them. I'm really not sure what they'll want to go into next. I mean, they'll obviously pick the Hard Rock 2 at some point, but they need to find something else to go into. Meanwhile, Slushy is going right back into that hidden pool, taking the hidden 3. I mean, this one is very expected, right? Like, Slushy looks so good on the hidden 1, and they just look better on the hidden as a mod overall. So it's very unsurprising for them to be picking into another hidden map. And although this one has, a much more control-heavy flavor compared to the hidden one, even though the hidden one was very controlling, I mean, this one just focuses more on the sort of slidery, circle tech sort of stuff that you are kind of used to seeing in your hidden 3s. So I think, this one is going to be quite favored for Slushy on paper for sure.
Yeah, I mean, this time around, I believe it's hidden 3. Well, it is a bit of a tech map, right? One way or another. The difference that we are going to be seeing here is that it is a bit more of a fast-paced one, right? There is going to be just less time to get through this aim patterns, through this just general sliders. You have to move a bit quicker, and this will be pretty much the challenge, right? At least compared to the normal 3 that we are seeing in the pool, still possible to pick in the future. But for now, hidden 3 again, right? Just a fun map to get through. I'm a bit interested to see this one coming out instead of normal 3, just a tiny bit, simply because I do believe it is a bit more of a deep spiky, right, type of map, simply because I do think that there is just a bit more potential if Team Balner will be able to just hold long enough, right, just to get some of that big performance spike in the right place. They will be able to just get a bit more combo, right, to get through to abuse and, well, get a point, potentially break point for them. But it is only a theory, right? It is only a possibility, and Team Slushy is going to be able to do everything to make that not be the future that they want. They will be choosing another line of the universe as, well, it seems like they are pretty much looking unstable on this type of more hidden type of stuff, at least so far in this matchup.
Yeah, I mean, I think going back to your point, I think, although No Mod 3 is certainly a good pick to follow this one up, I think it's just the hidden element that Slushy are really going for here. I do think No Mod 3 is going to be a very good later pick if they can do well on this one, but balner just have looked very weak on the hidden, right? They've taken 2 hard rocks on all the free mods, and they lost the hidden one by quite a sizable margin. So I think this hidden 3 is just a bit of a no-brainer for the slider slushy, and really they just want to get as far as possible from balner, right? They want to try and convert this no mod 1 breakpoint that they've just won into another point for them, and then after that, I mean, it should be a pretty smooth ride forward if they can just keep winning their picks. But I mean, I'm just excited to see this hidden 3 come out. It's going to be a map by Kalionet. He maps, pretty cool tech stuff sometimes, right? I think this one, I think it's be interesting to watch how these teams perform this.
Well, let's see if they're going to be able to just perform nice enough on this type of map, especially, again, the length of this map is not a big one, right? It is less than 2 minutes of drain time. It is going to be a bit more deep spiky than other maps, so as I mentioned, it is still going to be a bit dependent on who will be able to just hold that combo through this important part of this map, but, well, let's see if who is actually going to be the one to advance to 1 to get another point on board as. Well, it seems like we are not actually going to be loading into the game. There was some unfortunate mistakes from some of the players, but well, I'm really interested to see what there is going to be performance specifically from, I believe Sila is going to be facing off from the team of balner right now, and a Tantrix 3 might just make a showing of what he's capable of on this type of techie hidden result of just general control, a bit of a back and forth patterns, right? The result of cylinders that you have to just move your cursor back and forth to actually see them is a great accuracy, but well, it is going to be something that players are able to do as they are getting little by little towards the intro, and so far, well, it seems like the rosters are as expected.
Yep, as we begin this hidden 3, I mean, it's going to take a little bit before we really see what these trickier patterns come out, but we already get a sort of teaser into what this map is all about. It's going to be about these techie patterns, these circle techie patterns, these slider techie patterns, all on that hidden to try and catch these players out. And so far, it looks like it's going well for Slushy here. Ethan, Trix, and the Codename both still on those combos. Meanwhile, everyone else has it broken, and that's just going to keep that score lead on their side. They've built up almost 200k score lead and counting, and it's only 1/3 of the map passed. The Kitten does find the break, but Ethan Trix is still on that FC, and there's just no combo on the side of balner to try and contest it at all. That score difference is just going to keep on accelerating to the side of Slushy.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like it is just a great pick after all for Team Slushy for now, at least, as they're going to be getting a little bit of building now toward the second guy. The last chance for Team balner to make a difference. They just have to hold, but unfortunate mistakes even in the build from Majrade and Kasuria are not going to be doing them any favors, still going down with them, and it seems like it is pretty much just sealed already, as the Tantrix is still on the C700 combo and counting 96% accuracy from him, looking to finish off the FC. First FC, I believe, of this matchup for any of the players, and he's doing incredible. So there is some, of course, recovery combo, support combo coming in from the Katen, but it does not matter when we are already seeing a 100k score difference, and Tantrix is looking to actually finish off that LFC and show up when he's absolutely needed on this hidden 3. Actually, what an incredible performance from him.
And he's gonna be closing it out with an FC. I mean, what is this performance from Ethan Trix here? No one else in the lobby coming even close. And Ethan Trix's score alone almost beating the team score of balner here. An absolutely horrifying performance here from the side of Slushy and firmly cementing that 4th point for their side. One absolutely incredible show here from the side of Slushy. And I mean, they must be feeling really good about that. Balner now has the tough job of deciding what to go for next, right? You've lost those previous 2 maps, and by pretty sizable margins, all things considered. I mean, what do you even go for next, right? I imagine they might want to keep going into either the conventional aim or maybe just go back into the Hard Rock 2. And it does look like they're going into this DT1 here, but this one, this one isn't the most conventional, all things considered. This one is going to be your AR 10.5 check, the first time we have seen it in this tournament thus far. So not a lot of information surrounding that for these teams. But otherwise, the map itself is certainly not the most conventional either, right? This one is sitting at about 280 BPM there, so very, very fast aim, as you're used to seeing in your DT1s. But the patterning of this one, is certainly not the sort of conventional, comfortable aim that some players might be expecting to see in this DT1. There's just a lot of awkward angle changes, a lot of just weird, unconventional stuff going on in this DT1 that might trip some of those players up, especially when the AR is cranked that high.
Yeah, I mean, and on top of that, as an additional advantage going towards Team Slushy here, it is a map that has been made for OWC 2023 as Grand Finals DT1, so they have some of that practice already set in stone for this map, so definitely going to be something to watch out when you are picking against them. But Team Balner seems like they just are ready to show up. They are going to be still contesting some of those more aiming picks, and honestly, it is only one of the only things that they can do, so you can only respect that as the DT1 is on the table. And I am generally a bit more interested on what is going to be the performances right now from the Balner, right? Because of course they are great players, they have a potential, of course any of them might see at least in the solo play, but the tournament scene is a bit of a different thing. The tournament setting is just just going to be affecting your nerves a bit too much, so we might see some unexpected mistakes coming in, not just from the team of the right, but the team on the left as well. Team Rose and Team Iris both finding some unfortunate mistakes, maybe in the future, but for now they have to just get ready because it is going to be one of the only maps that they have a potential to get a breakpoint on, get at least a few more points for themselves.
Yeah, I mean, they only have this pick and then one more pick after this, so they really need to hope they can perform on this DT1. And they need to also, take another breakpoint from the side of Slushy if they want to secure themselves in this match. So we just have to wait and see how they perform on this DT1. But right off the bat, it's not looking so good for the side of Balner here. Both Sherry, Tori, and Fudge finding those early breaks here. I mean, there's still plenty of time in this map. This map sitting at 3 minutes and 20 seconds after DT. So plenty of time for scores to flip and combos to be had. But as it stands right now, all 3 players on Slushy are still holding that FC. Winner Life finally draws the first blood there for the side of Slushy, but they still have 2 FCs against just 1 on Curasuria on the side of Balner here.
A bit of a bad omen, but it is but a suction, as already we are seeing Kusuria finally going down together with boners that we have seen. Mistakes from Sheritori and Fudge. The only one still with combo from the side is Fudge, trying his best again to get at least a glimmer of hope, but unfortunately it is just not really a case here, as we are one half of the map through, and Taquito and the Katen are still holding those safe with incredible accuracies at that. 99% I believe almost from the Katen and 98.5 from Taquito, just going breezing through this map, flying high over all the players that are participating right now in this lobby. But so far, finally, the mistake, the stone thrown towards them will catch Tequito. He will be going down after all, but Gaten is still able to get the score difference going towards the side. It is going down bit by bit because there is some performances, there is some incredible recovery comeback coming in from Fudge and Kasuria, but it is not going to be enough. They need to see some of those breaks coming in from the team on the left. Slushy still holding, trying to recover as well, but the Gaten is still the only giant, the only Colossus that is holding that score difference going towards the team rolled, but he has been going down. The score difference is going to be just ballooning again towards the team balner as soon as they're going to be able to hold that combo. That is not going to be an easy task. As the break has seen, we know that there is not a lot of advantage going towards the team balner. It is unfortunate miss coming in from Fudge right before the break. It is even going to be less so, and it's a double break from Kosuri and Sharitori. The fate has been sealed. The Taquito and the recovery is enough, at least for now, to get even more of a score difference going towards the team Slushy.
And with just a quarter of the map left to go, it was looking so good from the side of Balner there, but unfortunately, those large recovery combos from Fudge and Kuroshiro just weren't able to hold. I mean, there is still time. The score lead is still only 70k, and it does look like it's slowly moving towards Balner's side thanks to recovery combos of Fudge and those breaks from Taquito and Window Life. But is there enough time? I mean, we're just going to need to see those recovery combos hold for longer, and maybe even a miss from the Kitten if it wants to flip. But as the timer counts down, as time is running out for the side of Balner here, I don't think it's going to be quite enough there. It's 60k, but as the Kitten finds a break, it's only 50k, and that is going to be it for the side of Slushy there. They're going to be taking that by the skin of their teeth by just 53k. But that, I mean, that is just incredible here for the side of Slushy. The Kitten just managing to hold long enough to make it matter. And that is going to be Slushy taking yet another break point for their side. Whew.
They are going to be creating a lead 5-2 against Team Balner, but I mean, let's be real, that was not a bad performance at any way from the Team Balner here, right? They had some great combos, they had some great scores, even 500 combo, I believe, from both Sharitori and I believe, and Fudge going into the ending, but unfortunately that is just not enough. There is just a bit more potential, a bit more consistency to abuse for Team Slushy on this type of maps, but, well, it is a point that Balner has been before. They did lose quite a bit points just all throughout all these tournaments. They did come back right after that. The only place where they did not was in the round of 16, I believe, against Team Dadunai. It was the team that Team Rose pretty much got the tiebreaker on earlier into this tournament. So right now it is just kind of a check for Team Balner to show again, to show up and get to just showcase what they are able to do, how they have improved throughout this tournament. So, well, for now at least it is not looking great, at least for them, as picks that they are going to be at least kind of a contested on are running out. The TT1 did not work out, and number 3 is on the table for Team Slushy, just hovering as a Damocles sword, looking to get a 6-3 lead against Team Balner.
I mean, yeah, going back to your point, I mean, that was not a bad performance by Balner by any means, but the thing is, right, Slushy are just building that score lead up and up and up, right? These points need to be won by Balner if they want any chance to win in this match at all. And the thing is, Slushy is only 2 more points away from taking this entire match, and they have one more. They have another opportunity to bring themselves to match point with this No Mod 3, and after that, I mean, they just have so much. They have so much time, right? They still have a whole 2 more picks at their disposal to just take the match on. So even if this No More 3 doesn't work out them, they have plenty of opportunities, plenty of chances for them to take this match right here now. Balner just really need to try and get a foot in the game here. They just don't have, I mean, just they've been losing these points quite frequently against Slushy here, and it's just not looking good for them at all. But we'll just have to hope they can perform on this No More 3 here. This pick coming up from Slushy, which I know you mentioned back when we were discussing the Hidden 3, and yeah, I think this is the very natural follow-up to the Hidden 3, right? This one going to be your just techie map, right? Pulled straight from OWC, and this one definitely a lot more circly and slidery heavy, I think, on both accounts, right? This one features also just a lot of linear stuff as well. I wrote down it was very Burning Star flavored, which might not be obvious from the get-go, but you do see a lot of these double into slider linear patterns that show up halfway through the map, so stay tuned for those. But you know, we do immediately see that this map is all about those sliders and these tricky, flowy, circular patterns, which we'll be seeing a lot more of in this map. As it stands right now, it's going to be Balner taking the early score lead here. It's 2 full combos to 1 right now, but make that 1 full combo to 1 as Fudge finds a break here. It is just Arguid versus Dekiden on this 1v1 of combos, but as Dekiden finds the break there, it's going to be Arguid left uncontested and trying to build up that score lead as we move into the halfway point of this map.
And so far it is looking like it is not as an incredible lead, as an incredible advantage going towards the team Slushy here, but of course the map is only started, so there's going to be even only more and more difficult patterns coming in, as we are already seeing a lot of mistakes coming in from the team bonus. There is not a lot of combo left at all, while Rectigon and Decayton are here to bring the dust up, to bring some of the score back towards the side, already getting the score difference finally towards the team Rolls here, but they have to hold on. It is still not a big one, and the recoveries are coming through little by little. Any misses will be giving some of the most crucial combo advantage towards either of the sides, and this finally triple, fourth, quadruple actually miss coming in from Kusuria, Fudge, Dekiden, Decayton. It is only going to be a better situation for Team Slushy, as Recticon is still covering through this No More 3, and incredibly so, going through the stop and go, but incredible aim control patterns, finally find a break on the slider, but it is still going to be more than enough to bring a 250k score advantage in this Arguid. Finally going down for the team bonus. The only sizable combo means that they are going to be enough to get a 6th and point towards the team Slushy, and I believe a match point at that.
I mean, it was looking pretty winnable for the side of Balner there at the halfway point, but just unfortunately Slushy just recovered so well there. All 3 players recovering that combo past the halfway mark and managing to take that score lead very confidently. 300k score lead at the end there, and bringing us up, as you mentioned, to match point 6-2. It is looking really dire for Balner, right? They have 2 more picks left, but they need to win every single map and then win the tiebreaker if they want to have a chance in this match. And given how it's been going so far, I mean, it's just hard to figure what they would want to go for at this juncture, right? A lot of stuff just hasn't worked out for them at all. They've really only had success in the sort of like multi-control stuff, but it does look like going back into that for once. Actually, they tried out the im angle, which didn't work out for them, but now they're going to be going back into this with this DT4, and this one is really just a clip farm map with the DT applied, right? It's kind of a standard all map when you take DT off, but when you put the DT on, there's just so many of these high spacing, intricate patterns that require, you know, such cursor discipline to be able to hit, and really that is the only point of contention in this map at all, right? There's just the map is littered with them, and if you cannot hit them consistently, I mean, your score is just not going to be very high on a map like this. But otherwise, there's not much else to discuss with regards to this map. I think Balner just hoping for the same success that won them their only 2 points in this matchup, but it is now or never for them. It is just they are at their limit now.
Yeah, I mean, this DT4 is just honestly just kind of incredible, right? Kind of insane even. It is something that is best described as everything control, right? Because you are not only going to be seeing some of that aim control, right? Simply because of some incredible flow, almost snap at some point, aim requirements that you have to meet. There is a lot of finger control as well. There is a lot of speed control, right? That you have to get through simply because, well, it is this type of map, right? It is pretty much if it was apparent before, Cohesive would come back to the top 100 with this map for sure, but, well, it is still going to be epic for now. We had seen in the previous match that we have seen just earlier today, I believe at 15 UTC, and the team that has advanced further, OWC already, did get something along almost a triple of C, right? Incredible performances, 600, 700, 800k from all three of their players. So whatever team is going to be advancing further from this point onward, they need to perform incredibly well. They need to show up that they can match their performance if they want to advance even further towards the grand finals in the future matchup for sure. But for now, they have to face off against each other and get a point at least right now, as it is potentially against the last map of this bout, the last possible point to get for Team Balner, or rather for Team Slushy. The only difference that is going to be taking them before the eventual advancement towards the next stage, towards the Team OWC ready, but at least for now they will be getting into this map with a great mindset. Already unfortunately giving away the accuracy advantage, but it is but a start.
Yeah, as we open up into this DT4, I mean, you see what this map is all about, right? It's about these tricky ult patterns on the DT there, which, not only requires that high BPM tapping, but also requires just such cursor discipline, as I was saying earlier. And Arguid is going to be the first one to stumble there. He's going to be the first one to drop their combo, giving the advantage to Slushy as we get into this first KI. But this is only where it ramps up even more. There's just more of these patterns to trip everyone off guard. And Kasuria, Takedo are going to be ones to find the breaks here. It's just the Kid and Rexagon and Fudge to hold those FCs. But just as I say that, Fudge is going to be going down. That is still 2 FCs out of that first KI for Slushy here. I mean, it's only 1/3 of the map gone, but it is looking really good for the side of Slushy here.
And it is not just 2 FCs for Team Slushy, it is also an FC at the gate and holding 99.4% accuracy, still halfway through the map, looking to get one of the best scores of this week, I believe, on the DT4, but it is still going to be a big challenge for now. He has to continue getting that combo, but it is not fated to be. He will be going down to get the Decepticon and the Keto, but unfortunately for them, the combo is not something that is present for on the right side as well. Just everyone is going down. 350 score difference has been built and will be one of the decisive reasons why Slushy seem to will be, after all, getting that last point, but it is still not over. There is at least some potential to see some incredible performances from all of the players that are still in the lobby, and at least for now, getting towards the last quarter, it seems like that is a potential as the Katen, after finally finding those 2 breaks we had seen previously, he is on recovery finally again on that incredible hardest of hell aim control battles. Will finding 3 more misses for himself, but you cannot blame him at all, as he's doing it still incredibly well. Incredible 97.8% accuracy, and well, increasing it bit by bit as he is getting breezing through this map. And with that, the map will be finished, the winner will be decided. Team Slushy will be advancing towards the later stage of the finals and will be facing off against Team OWC Ready in the losers bracket.
And as they cross that finish line, taking the final point of this matchup, I mean, just incredible stuff here from the entire team there, right? The Kitten and Recno managing to hold for so long, just building up that incredible score buffer that won them this point and thus this match. And yeah, I mean, They're going to be facing off against OWC Ready tomorrow, I believe. So stay tuned for that matchup. And commiserations to Balner. They had a very solid losers bracket run, making it all the way to finals after dropping down in the round of 16. But unfortunately, will be walking away with the 5th to 6th place. So commiserations again. But yeah, huge congratulations to Slushy there. A very dominant matchup in this performance, and I am just very excited to see how they face up against OWC Ready.
Yeah, unfortunately for Team Boulders, they did just face off an unstoppable force right now in the face of Slushy, and unfortunately for them, they were not an impenetrable wall, so they will be, after all, eliminated from the Resurrection Cup 2026 Codename Genesis, but it is still going to be only better, only more interesting from this point onwards as the matchups are getting closer and closer. The incredible potential and incredible scores to be produced are only to be seen on the stage of the Resurrection Cup, so stay tuned and look out for it. Thank you for watching.